Hello my guys, welcome to my July unboxings, which actually I think we have a pretty big one this month. So as usual, I will start off with running through everything I'm going to be opening for you guys today. I do have a couple of rep packages. I have my final Illumicrate rep package. So if you watched last month's unboxing, you will know I was supposed to receive the June Illumicrate as my final rep box, and I received something completely different instead, but I did email Illumicrate and they have sent me through their June box. So Illumicrate are a UK-based bookish subscription box. In every box you get a brand new hardback release, normally in a new adult kind of age group, but they do everything from like young adult to adult, and it is a mix of like sci-fi and fantasy. And then you'll also get a selection of bookish goodies in here as well. Also from Illumicrate, I have one of their sequels. This one is the Jasad crown, and I also did add on the extra dust jackets, although I do generally have feelings about that, which we'll talk about when we get to it. I have a couple of additional things that I've just thrown in with this unboxing just because this actually arrived this morning. It is a book from my August TBR that I ordered off Vinted, and then I also have some Booktuber merch that arrived while I was on holiday, and I have been desperate to open this for so long. And then we have my Fairyloot rep packages, so thank you very much to Fairyloot for sending me your boxes to open up in this unboxing video. So I have the July young adult box, which is in quite a big box, so I'm interested to see what's in here. The last time we had such a huge box, there was a jigsaw in it, but that was only a couple of months ago, so I don't think we're gonna have another jigsaw so soon. But Fairyloot do 3 monthly boxes. They have the young adult box and also the adult and the Romantasy. So the adult and the Romantasy are book only subscriptions. You will get a brand new hardback adult and or, depending on what you subscribe to, Romantasy book every single month in a exclusive edition. And for the young adult, you will of course get a young adult fantasy hardback in an exclusive edition, but also with a selection of bookish goodies. And they also have a book only option for this as well, and a combo box where you can get all 3. There's one of these that I'm particularly excited about. I think the Romantasy or the adult, I can't quite remember. And then finally we have something from Goldsboro. This one is a sequel. I think it is the final book in the Broken Blade series by Mike Holland, which I've actually very recently read book 2. So this is perfect timing because I can go, theoretically, I can go straight into book 3. Probably actually not going to do that. So I'm going to start off with the extra bits and bobs, I guess. Let's crack open this package from Bonfire because I have been so excited for this one, mainly because it's summer and this is a very important part of my summer uniform. So I ordered a t-shirt from Aaron from Books and Busy's merch store on Bonfire. The pink tie-dye, I am obsessed. In summer, I pretty much exclusively wear really oversized t-shirts with cycling shorts, and I'm always in the market for a new oversized tee, and I thought that this would be perfect. So expect it's like a really good oversize as well. Like the t-shirt I'm wearing today is also a 2XL, but because I got it from Hong Kong, it actually fits quite small, whereas this is kind of the size that I expect from a 2XL. It is going to be deliciously roomy, and I love the pink tie-dye as well, even though it looks more like a splatter than a tie-dye really. The thing that I got from Vinted is a manga that is on my August TBR. If you watch my TBR, you may remember that I said I was going to go to Forbidden Planet on that day and see if I could find a copy of this. I did go in and look and couldn't find anything, and it seems that it's out of print. So when I found a physical copy on Vinted for £2.50, do you mind? There will be things for you to chew on, I'm sure. I had to snap it up. So this is Our Dining Table by Mita Ori, which is, I'm pretty sure, a really wholesome boy love manga story about 2 brothers who go to this guy who I think is like quite surly, but he's a really good cook, and they ask him to teach them how to cook. That's all I know about it, but I love me a wholesome manga or graphic story, so I feel like this one is going to really fit the bill in that regard. Next up, we will do the Goldsboro. There's only a couple of things that I get from Goldsboro these days. We have, of course, the customary Goldsboro masses of bubble wrap. Oh, I forgot what colour this was. That is like hella pink. I love it. So this one is Three Shattered Souls by Mike Holland. I will overlay the original cover over the top. It is the same, just in a different colour. But I have the Goldsboro editions of all of the books in this series with matching numbers on all of them actually, which is nice. We also have printed edges on these. I'm not sure if the end papers are custom or not, but then we also have foiled naked hardcovers, as well, of course, the fact that it is signed and numbered, which is what Goldsboro specialise in. So this one is an adult fantasy trilogy that is a heist story where 5 people who are really down on their luck and don't have a lot of options have been offered something very important to them in exchange for killing the king. This is a series that took me by surprise because I pretty much heard a lot of mid things about it, but it's a story that is very nostalgic to me. It reminds me a lot of stories that I loved when I was in my like late teens, early 20s, but dealing with some darker, more adult topics. And I also really like the audiobooks for this series as well because they're full cast. I feel like we're getting through things quite quickly, but I'm pretty sure it's because we haven't touched any of the items yet. So let's get into the July Young Adult Fairyloot to find out why this box is so big. Now I'm actually quite late filming my unboxings this month and I haven't managed to be spoiled for this box, which is unusual. But the theme for July is rule them all. And if you guys would like to read the spoilers, you can pause here and take a look. I, however, will of course be going in blind as always. Okay, so the first thing we have is a tumbler. I have a lot of book box tumblers now. I do really like the Fairyloot ones in general, but I'm also not a Hobbit or Lord of the Rings fan, sadly. I know that's like blasphemous as a fantasy reader, but this one is a very nice design. Even Brie likes it. Next up we have a Rose Bargain memo pad. That is not what I would have assumed that this is based on the shape of the box. I thought it was going to be a coaster set. Oh, this is really cute actually. It's like a little desk block. I actually do use my stationery like this. We talk about this every time I get stationery in a subscription box, but I don't use a lot of the actual physical notebooks that I get because I have commitment issues, but I do use things like desk pads, so these are very useful to me, especially because I've been using them recently. I've been a little bit overwhelmed by everything I felt like I needed to do, so I've reverted back to to-do lists, which are very helpful for me. Next up we have what looks like a bag. Ooh, this is a toiletry bag. It says THW, which I'm not sure I know what that acronym is, but this is actually a nice travel one. I already use the, you know, like the really big Fairyloot toiletry bag that we got, I think it was some point last year. That is the one that I use when I go away and I put literally everything in it, but it is a little bit big and also kind of like a washing machine and that everything tumbles around in there. So this one I feel is a little bit better for keeping things organized, so I may end up using this in the future. Oh, the book isn't actually in one of the Fairyloot dust bags this month. I wonder if they ran out. I hope they don't stop doing them like Illumicrate did because I really like them. But at the bottom of the box we have the bookmark with the spoiler card art on. We also have the tarot cards of the month. I'm assuming that these are characters from the book of the month, and they are the Emperor and the High Priestess card. And then we also have the overlays, which are the newest collectible items from Fairyloot, just to get a sense of the art style without spoilers. To be fair, they're not really, I've noticed that the ones that I've seen so far aren't really spoilery. I guess I just like to look at the spoiler cards and where they're placed in the book and then only really look at the art then, but I do really like the art style in this one. And then the book of the month, I've just remembered who the author is. So I have previously DNF'd a book by this author before. It was the writing style I wasn't super gelling with, but this I can already tell is a beautiful edition, and I am of course open to giving it a try. The book for July, I have no idea what month it is guys, is The Nightblood Prince by Molly X Chang. This is stunning. I love it. So this one is a drastically different cover to the original. It is a completely exclusive Fairyloot cover, so I will overlay the original over the top so that you guys can see the difference. I much prefer this cover. I don't really have any opinions on the original cover. It's fine, but this one is stunning. I really like the color palette, we also have art that kind of matches the cover, which we all know I really like. This is an artist who has definitely worked with Fairyloot a lot in the past as well, because I recognize the art style on the cover, but also the end pages, all with the color theme present throughout. And then, ooh, the naked hardcover is a printed and foiled one. I love me a printed hardcover, and the foiling is minimum on this one, which is how I prefer it. And then we do have the original cover on the reverse dust jacket. I'm not sure if the colorway has changed on this. To me, that does look exactly the same as the original, which is fine. We just normally have a color change. And in terms of the synopsis on this one, I am unfamiliar, so I'm going to read it to you guys. It says, 2 princes, 1 prophecy, a fate she cannot outrun. The night Faye was born, a prophecy was made. She would one day become the empress of all empresses. Torn from her family as a child and raised in the palace to one day marry the crown prince of the most powerful empire in the land, Faye has only ever known loneliness. When the opportunity arises to seize her own destiny for the first time in her life, Faye sets out to hunt a legendary tiger, knowing it might cost her everything. What she doesn't expect is to fall under the mercy of Yiju, the beautiful runaway prince from a rival kingdom. Blessed by the night, harboring a dangerous magic, and capable of commanding an army of deadly vampires, Yiju could be the key to Faye gaining more than just her freedom. But to outrun her destiny, Faye must spark a wave of events that will change the world as she knows it. Torn between 2 princes and plagued by nightmares of bloodshed, she finds that the stars might be more inescapable and more irresistible than she ever considered before. I did not have vampires on my bingo card for this book, but yeah, I'll give this one a go. It sounds pretty decent from the synopsis. I just have previously not loved Molly X Chang's writing style. Next up, we will do the combo box. So this one has the adult and the Romantasy books for July in it. We do have the Fairyloot bags in this one, and the first one we've come across is, I think, the adult. Yes, this one is the adult fantasy theme, which is Dancing with Danger. Looking at the spoiler card as well with what the book is, I don't think I'm familiar with this one. I will have spoiled myself for it in the past, so I will have been aware that this was the book. It's very floral, very green as well. And it is Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. This is very reminiscent of a cover of a different Fairyloot book that I actually cannot put my finger on right now, but it definitely looks familiar. And let me, because I don't know what this book is supposed to look like. So this one is very similar to the original cover of the book. I would say that the main thing that's different is that we have a different colorway, and also the figure in the stained glass in the middle is different. I think I definitely prefer this green color palette to the one on the original book. We also, of course, have a printed edge carrying on the floral theme. We have custom end papers, which, as always, are different on each side. I'm definitely more intrigued after seeing that one. Under the dust jacket, we have a completely custom cover again with character art on the inside of the dust jacket, as opposed to the original cover in a different colorway, which makes sense actually with this one not being too dissimilar from the original cover. And I really like the art style on this under dust jacket art. And I also very much like the naked hardcover, which once again is printed and foiled, but with the foiling being quite minimal. So in terms of the synopsis on this one, I am very intrigued. It has a page of trigger warnings in it, so it does deal with some darker topics as well. But the synopsis says, I rise to the tips of my toes, then lean into my dance. My movement and range may be stilted, but I will find my poetry. Vasily Moran was once a dancer in King Elian's court, until he framed her for murder. 2 long years in shackles leaves her broken and hopeless, until she's suddenly called to face her king. He offers her a deal: pose as a dancer at the royal gathering, spy on his enemies, and he'll grant her freedom. But as Elian's orders grow bloody and dangerous, Vasily discovers the monster she serves may be aligned with an even greater evil. Unexpected help from Elian's rakish brother Anton, the king of the east, only complicates things more. The rivalry between brothers escalates, and Vasily is caught in the middle. If she is to survive, she must decide who to trust, who to fight for, and how much of her soul she's willing to damn in in the process. So aside from the fact this has a focus on dance, I don't think that it is anything that sounds too unique. I have said this before, that's not necessarily a bad thing as long as it's done well, but I will definitely give this one a try and see what I think. And then the last Fairyloot that we have is the Romantasy, which is also by an author that I have read from in the past and I have enjoyed but didn't love. So we'll see how this one goes. This book is actually also on my August TBR, and the theme for July is Fateful Bonds. And the book, I already love the edges on this. I feel like the design of this book is going to be something that I particularly enjoy. This one is Arcana Academy by Elise Cover, and yes, I very much love the design of this. Same color scheme as the original cover, but very different design, so I will overlay the original over the top for you guys. We have tarot cards down the edges that go all the way around. The back also carries the theme of the front, and I really like the spine on this. It actually reminds me of the Raven Kennedy books, the Plated Prisoner series in the Fairyloot editions. Oh, I love the art style on the end papers for this one. Different art on front and back as usual. And then under the dust jacket, let's see what we've got. Okay, nothing too flashy on the naked hardcover, but very effective, just foiling. And then we have the original cover in a very slightly different colorway. Underneath it's a little bit more muted. So in terms of the synopsis, I can actually tell you a little bit about this one. This one is following a girl who is sentenced to life in prison for plagiarizing tarot cards, and the headmaster of Arcana Academy releases her from prison because he wants her to steal a very powerful tarot card and then I think replicate it, and to conceal her identity and also their true purpose. He enrolls her into Arcana Academy, also as his bride-to-be, which I don't know why the bride to be, like the arranged marriage kind of plot is in there, but I love magic that is centered around anything kind of like psychic or tarot cards, like things that fall into the realm of the occult, and I also love magic school settings, so I'm hoping that I really enjoy this one. The book that I've read from Elise Cover in the past was A Deal with the Elf King, which I did enjoy, but I didn't love it. Like, it wasn't enough to have me rushing out picking up anything else from Elise Cover, but I am going to be going to an Elise Cover event this month, and I would like to at least read some of this before then. So now we just have the two Illumicrates. So the one on top I think is the Jasad crown, and we do of course have the dust jackets for book 1 and book 2, and the I'm gonna put it heavily in quotations, exclusive edition of the Jasad crown by Sarah Hashem, which is one of my anticipated releases of this year, which you can probably guess as it's in my hands right now. The extra dust jackets I did purchase because I remember way back in the day, which was like last year, when I unboxed the Jasad Air and it said in the spoiler card it was an exclusive edition, and I was like, I cannot figure out how this is exclusive, like how it's a different cover. It does of course have stenciled edges on it, but it doesn't really have anything exciting in the end papers. The cover pretty much exactly the same as the original, and we also have, this is nice, on the naked hardcover, but it's quite minimal from what we expect of special editions even a year ago. It seems, I think that the only difference is that this is foiled, which it's very, very subtle. If you put the two books, like the Jasad Airs, if you put the normal one and the Illumicrate one side by side, it is super, super minimal changes, hardly noticeable. So when they announced that they were doing the dust jacket set, I did decide, I was debating, because like these are just different. They're not the best custom dust jackets I've ever seen. I obviously liked them enough to purchase them, mainly because I wanted my editions to look special. So Illumicrate have been doing this pretty frequently at the minute, where they've given like a very average special edition in the past. So now they're selling custom dust jackets on top of the price of the book, and they're not super cheap either, the dust jackets. I think they're like £20 or something, maybe more, to actually make the edition special. I have fallen for it this time. I've also fallen for it with all of the Ali Hazelwood books. I have bought all of the additional dust jackets for those as well. But I think, especially with a book that was just published last year, I feel like I would have appreciated a nicer special edition to start off with, instead of having to 1 year later purchase new dust jackets for the series. Thankfully, I'm pretty sure it's only a duology. Oh, it might be a trilogy actually. No, it is a duology, so that's me sorted now. This one is pretty thick as well. I mean, the Jasad era is not short, but this one's almost 700 pages, which is actually kind of exciting. But if you are unfamiliar with this one, it is the Scorched Throne duology, and it is set in this world where every kingdom used to have magic, but the magic has faded out of all of them apart from one, and our main character is the heir to this kingdom. There was a fifth kingdom that was created to kind of police the magic of the rest, and within this character's lifetime, that fifth kingdom decided that the one that she is from, which I think is Jasad, was getting a bit too big for their boots. So they came in and they essentially killed everybody. And our main character, being an heir to this kingdom, part of the royal family, has been on the run ever since, and she is essentially just trying to have a quiet life for herself in a village where she doesn't expect to really get any attention, and she's hiding her magical abilities. But one day when she is attacked by one of the soldiers of the realm, she comes to the attention of the prince, who then requires her to compete in this tournament that I think is some sort of like anniversary celebration, and there is a romantic plotline in here as well. I'll let you guys guess what it is. I will say as well, for this duology, I know that it is quite common for the publishers to have like kind of the final say on how many customizations can be done for a series. So there is of course the potential that Illumicrate weren't allowed to do a lot of customization on this duology, making like additional dust jackets is a workaround for that, but obviously that's information that we'll never know. And then our last box that we're going to be opening today is the June Illumicrate, which I've saved till last because at this point this is like a late unboxing and you guys may have already seen it, but the theme is darkly decadent. And if you guys would like to see the spoilers, you can pause here and take a look. The theme for July, as I'm sure you all know by now, is Yours Hatefully, and the book for that box is one that I'm kind of low-key interested in, but Fairyloot have also, I haven't seen the Illumicrate edition. I should look it up and decide if I want to get my hands on it, but if I don't, the Fairyloot edition for that book, absolutely stunning. So the first thing we have in this box is one of their exclusive mugs. The theme on this one is Nested Soul, and I think it is inspired by The Last Tale of the Flower Bride, which is a book that I have read and enjoyed. I definitely see the inspiration here. I like the colour theme on this one as well. Brie has just stolen the tube that the dust jackets were in, so I'm glad that I took them out. Next up we have this case that feels like, I'm not sure exactly what it is. Oh, it's a picnic blanket. Okay, that makes sense because I was like, this is kind of heavy. It's inspired by, oh, it's inspired by House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. If I had to guess, I would have assumed that it was inspired by the newer Susan Dennard series that I cannot remember the name of. I haven't read it yet. And it is indeed a picnic blanket. I really love the design on this one. I don't want to unfold it because it's going to be pretty big, I imagine, but that may come in handy even if I just use it like out in the garden. And I love that it all kind of folds up, although these flowers look like the Demogorgon and I can't unsee it. Next up we have a spoon rest inspired by The Ravenous Fate, which I don't think I know what that book is. Oh, this is pretty though. We all know that kitchen items are generally my favorite, and this is very much in keeping with some of the both Fairyloot and Illumicrate kitchen items that I've received in the past in terms of the design. This is like one of the best Illumicrate boxes I've had in a very, very long time actually. Oh, this is exciting. This is inspired by Hungerstone by Kat Dunn, and it is a like pad, I think, of recipe cards. Y'all know I love to cook and I love to bake. This is so cool. You have the like ingredients and the, do you have equipment on here as well? No, just the like the name, the ingredients, the time, but then on the back of them you also have the cooking instructions. This is really cool and I feel like I will actually use this. So that just leaves us with the book of the month. This is a book that I don't feel like I'm particularly excited about it. I haven't heard much about it, but I really do not like the normal cover of this one. The book in question is A Treachery of Swans by A.B. Poranek. I will overlay the original cover over the top, of course. I think that it is like very, very forgettable. Like it's just not a good cover in my opinion. This one is much better, and the art style is really leaning into what I assume is going to be the fairy tale nature of this book. On the back we have a landscape. The edges I think are feathered. colors, very muted. We have custom end papers, which are different on each side. And the naked hardcover. This, for me, is one of the areas where Illumicrate frequently excel over Fairyloot. Just in terms of my personal preference, I love a printed hardcover like this. And I'm not saying that Fairyloot have never done nice printed hardcovers, because like the Heavenly Bodies one, Air of Storms one recently that was like Heavenly Bodies. But I think this is the third or fourth Illumicrate one that I've really loved. Watermoon is one. Mistress of Lies was my favorite one ever, but I just didn't end up liking the book. So this is definitely my favorite element of this, and the reverse dust jacket is just plain. So I actually don't know anything about this. I'm expecting it to be fairy tale-esque. Whether that is a retelling or not, I have no idea. So the synopsis says, magic has long been outlawed in Oriel. Odile has always known she'd be the one to restore it. Raised by a sorcerer, Odile has spent years preparing for the heist of a lifetime. It's perfectly simple. Impersonate a princess, infiltrate the palace, steal the enchanted crown, and restore magic to the kingdom. But when the king is unexpectedly murdered, she's forced to recruit the help of Marie, the real princess, and the two begin to unravel a web of lies and deceit that leaves Odile uncertain of who to trust. Soon though, Odile must decide her mission or the girl she's falling for. The fate of the kingdom depends on her making the right choice. So once again, nothing I feel super unique, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing. So down in the comments, let me know what your favorite item from this Illumicrate box is. The book is not the strongest one that I've seen in recent months. I think, was it the April and May or the March and April ones were ones that I was really excited for, but the items are the best that I've seen in an Illumicrate box maybe all year. Actually, this was a very, very strong box. For me, my favorite item is either the recipe card book or the spoon rest. I will use the picnic blanket. I do have all of the mugs, so it will be added to my collection, but these are the two that I'll probably get the most use out of. So now it is time to see my book haul for the month of July, which, considering I have now eliminated Illumicrates for the most part from my monthly hauls, making the books that I read for Shelf or Scrap It a little bit more manageable, I have been hauling a little too many books recently. So we currently have 7 books here to start off my August haul. In terms of the editions, the 2 contenders for my favorite are definitely the Nightblood Prince and Arcana Academy. I'm gonna flip it around so we can look at the edges once again. I think that my favorite edge is definitely the Nightblood Prince, and I do think that that is going to win my favorite edition overall. I just really love the art style and the color palette on here. I do also very much love Arcana Academy. It is very in keeping with other books that Fairyloot have done in the past. There's other covers that they've done that are very similar to this, but in terms of like the spine and the color palette, things that immediately come to mind are Babel by R.F. Kuang, but also this is very, very reminiscent of the Pleated Prisoner series, as I mentioned, and the way that the spine is, it reminds me of some of the earlier special editions they did, like the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden. So down in my comments, do of course let me know what your guys' favorite edition and favorite book of this stack is. Let me know if you've read any of them as well and your thoughts, and if you guys would like to let me know that you were here but you don't feel like you have anything to say, leave me some sort of like red emoji, let's say, for the Nightblood Prince. Once again, a big thank you to Fairyloot and also Illumicrate for providing some of the boxes that I opened for you guys today. And down in my description box, you are going to find a link to the websites and the social medias of all of the boxes that I have opened today, as well as any discount codes that I may have. But aside from that, guys, please do not forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. Also, down in my description box, you will find a link to my Goodreads, my Instagram, and my Patreon if you would like to follow me on any of those. That's it from me today, guys. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.